Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? This is Easy Drawings 101 comic book drawing channel. And some anime. We're going to start bringing anime into this as well soon. But for now, we're going to be concentrating on comic books. I'm going to be using pencil, just a blue pencil for the underlay. And then some, different microns and stuff like that, which I will go over pretty soon. This is an armadillo. I keep all my supplies in that. We do sell these things, and I'll link it at the very end. But let's kind of get started on the Flash. I didn't even say what it was going to be. We're going to draw the Flash running, and I want to go over that with you guys. I'm going to go over the blue pencil because I'm going to go kind of dark this time. We'll see if I have to kind of, erase a whole lot or not. I'm going to be using just a regular eraser, to be honest, off the back of off the back of a mechanical pencil. Those erasers are, good enough. So, anyways, I'm going to draw a circle for the Flash's head. He's going to be running at us, so I'm going to put his shoulders at an angle. That's a big thing. I'm going to find where his shoulders are going to be. He's going to be running, so I'm thinking about where his legs are going to be moving, right? I'm going to put this down, find the center line of his chest using a triangular shape. His legs will be sticking out forward, and we're going to be thinking about perspective in a way. I'll put a circle there for the end of his knee. His shoulder is going to come forward right here into his arm, into his elbow. That's a big part of it. He just does that same running pose. I'm going to put a shape here for the hand. A tube shape for the arm. And the shape for the lower portion of the arm where the humerus is. Shoulders are going to round out back. You're not going to be able to see his hand behind him, but he's going to have his hand behind him because his body is blocking it. And then his leg is going to be diminishing into the background there a little bit because of perspective. And then his shoe, his foot on the bottom there. So this is really kind of layer one. Hopefully you can kind of see that pretty well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this and I'm going to throw it underneath a regular sheet of paper. This is computer paper, by the way, regular 11 by 17 computer paper. So I can kind of see a vague image there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a regular pencil here. And this is just a regular, I'm going to grab a regular mechanical pencil. I like kind of finding my shapes that way. Hopefully you can see it on camera well enough. I actually might change into a regular pencil so that you can see it on camera better. I think the mechanical pencil might be too thin. So I'm just going to use an H. And this is like a hard pencil. It's not really made for this. Actually, let me grab a 4B instead, a 4B pencil. So I'm going to find the center line of his head right here, and I'm going to start going into his head first and find the features. When I do that, I'm breaking up the head into thirds for the most part. Brow line. He might actually be looking down, so I might actually pull those thirds down. So it'll be top of the head over here, where it rounds out into the top of the head. Then the brow line. I'm going to find the brow line, which is right above the eyes. And then below the nose a little bit. The nose is going to be going down because I think he'll be looking downward a little bit as he runs. And then the bottom of the chin. So 1, 2, 3. This top section is going to be the top back part of his head. I'm going to pull that, and I have a head there. Oops, hopefully you can kind of see that. Pull this a little bit. Now he's going to have his trapezius coming out the back. Should have put his head lower, because the reason I should have put his head lower is because his shoulders are going to be kind of like he's gonna come forward, and his torso is going to be behind him as he runs forward. So I move the paper down to kind of move the head down. What I will do is I will go into the, one second, let me get my sharpener. I'm going to be going to his chest, find the muscles of his chest a little bit. The deltoid right here is the top of the arm. The other deltoid, the other part of the deltoid is the front. Deltoid is made up of 3 muscles. Tricep, as it moves forward. The bicep, as that's in front of the deltoid. The what do you call that? Lower part of the arm is coming in front of the bicep. Goes in front of it in space. He's sticking his hand forward. And then his hand. Think of his hand, at least the box part of it, like a box. Kind of this portion of it from the knuckle down, like a box. You could possibly have a fist, or just, let's just make it a fist. It would be easier for everybody here, so you can see it. I think of the very fist itself as pretty much a box. Going in here, think of the clavicle at the top. Going right in here, find the top of the pectoralis, which is the chest. Other side of the pectoralis. Clavicle comes over here to the top of the arm. The deltoid on the other side. His arm coming out the back over his wrist. His hand over here in the back. He's got this one open. I like to group the 3 fingers together when I first start, just as a visual aid. Pulling it down here to the leg. His fist is probably blocking out most of him. His leg. Down to his pelvic area. And I'm pulling over here I think this vastus internus, I forget, this ball. You see it a lot on soccer players, like it's huge in soccer players. Other side, other muscle on the other side is the quadricep, the knee, moving his foot over a little bit. He's got like a boot. Back leg. Got a lot of lightning coming out, so I'm gonna kind of start those shapes. But now that we have this kind of framework, I'm gonna zoom in a little more, and I want to kind of go into his face only. So I'm gonna think of the shadows. And usually with a flash, light comes from both sides. because of kind of like the lightning around him. So there's going to be a light source coming from here and here. So there's going to be a dark spot along the center. It's a common kind of comic book thing to do. It's usually, you can make that area as big as you want, really. It can look like a ball of some kind. But you're showing the information through just that limited light, so you kind of have to be aware of that. I make him kind of stern looking. He's kind of speeding, right? So some shadow right here. You gotta remember that the mask, I think his mask comes up like Batman's kind of. No, not really like Batman's. It comes up above, more like Captain America's, I guess, if you were to compare it to anything. But I remember that there's going to be kind of a continuous kind of blockage of dark toward the center. It's going to be hard not to make him look cross-eyed. And I'm going to pull over here along the line of the mask as well. Going down the ridge of his nose. Going to the ball of his nose. Finding the light there. It's a little bit different because I recommend really sharpening your pencil, because it's a little, it's kind of difficult with, you know, it's a little bit smaller. You don't have, like, it's not a head drawing per se. It's got this kind of grimace I always see on superheroes. A serious look. Pulling down. Side of the cheekbones. Trying to make everything as symmetrical as I can. If it's a little unsymmetrical, I wouldn't worry too much about it, to be honest. It'll be fine. As long as it's nothing too wild, it should be okay. His nose, I think, is a little bit bigger. I'm going to try to shrink that a little bit. Pull up the sides of his lips so it won't look too grouchy. His ears essentially are his bolts, or his wings. Sorry, I didn't have wings. Wait, bolts, right? This is a bolt. Ugh, I should look up a reference. Bolt. Going down into his neck. Following this shadow pattern. This is a trap. Going to the shoulder here. The traps connect into the top of the clavicle over here. Let's see. Let me zoom out a little bit. Let me fix the top of his head before I move on. Catch the upper part of his back deltoid. Like a striation in his chest there. Another striation in his chest here. Zoom out a little bit more so you guys can see. I try to take care of the large masses first, like his chest and his arms, because I think that's the easiest stuff to do. I think that's the easiest stuff to do. Dark portion over here, his ribs area. Dark area over here. He has a symbol right here. I forgot to put. I'll have to erase that for the most part. Not all of it. Throw his flash symbol here. The area behind it is probably not going to affect it, I don't think. Meaning his chest isn't going to... You could make his chest kind of go into it there, like it's entirely cloth. But I'm probably not going to do that. Going over here to the side of his arm. Let's take care of his hand back here first, I guess. Putting a kind of shadow toward the center of his wrist. I'm just kind of more or less straightening this one out. That should be okay for now, for a placeholder. go to the front. Let's go take care of his fist. So then, I'm trying to look at my own fist, see how that would go. Usually the middle knuckle is higher than the rest. Oops. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm trying to split them up first. Trying to figure out. Look at my own hand. It's hard to look at it through that angle. Come in here, find that last finger. Clean things up. Make an eraser. You could also use a kneaded eraser, which is my favorite. I'll go down here on the muscle of the side. Putting in some shadow pattern there. That's just a flashy thing to do, really. Alright, I threw most of that in shadow, and now I'm going to do the same thing to the back leg. I'm going to pull out some indication of muscles. That's pretty much good enough, I think, to start inking. I could throw some swooshy lines. So anyways, let's start the inking process. I'm going to be using one of these, I forget what you call it, Artist Loft pens. Let me kind of zoom in so you can kind of see it. I'm going to start in his face. I'm going to use a number 3 Artist Loft pen. So, let me kind of get started on this. I'm going to go in here into this dark shape and just kind of, a lot of the homework is done for me. For example, that was the hard part, was the drawing it, like the proportion. You're taking care of things in stages so that you don't have to deal with it later on. That's a big part, really, of drawing, is doing things in stages. It's just the easiest way to go about it. If you have to think of everything at once, it's not as easy. So, stuff in stages is, really the way to go. Pulling on the eyes here, trying to get thinner stroke. Filling in a lot of this stuff here in black. Pulling out certain things that I want to pull out. Pulling the lines up here, trying to keep it thinner. I think I kind of overshot that line, but I just have to keep moving. Going down to the ridge of the nose. Going down through the lower lip, back down here, trying to indicate some direction, being careful with that. Throwing in mostly the kind of larger lines. Really making most of these lines pretty, like I said, solid shapes, which I already kind of did. Inking is really to give it punch. Obviously, it's also to clean up the line of the artist. You know what I mean? Usually you have your own inker. You can ink your own stuff too. I've known quite a few inkers that was their job. It's cool, you know, it's really cool. I'm not really sure, you know, if they find it. I guess it's rewarding, right? I don't know if I'd find purely being an inker rewarding. I guess it is a lot of fun. It scratches some itch inside you. You know what I mean? Some kind of artistic itch it scratches inside you. It definitely does. Even when I'm doing this, I feel really good. It's like remarkably fun to do. I recommend it to most of you guys if you haven't started inking yet. I really hope this minorly, you know, like I would say, like just kind of gets you interested in it. Right there, the flash is lightning bolt. Trying to pull the strokes confidently. Here. Still trying to, oops, a little bit of paper came off, a little bit sharp. Outside, taking care of the outside lines. Go in the front over here. Take care of the kind of fist. Around the forearm again. A lot of this is retreading what we did before. You gotta just get a general feel of it, and what you do with that is, we're gonna refine it with another, I was gonna say marker, another pen. We're gonna refine it with another pen. So I'm going to speed it up so that this isn't horrifically boring, and I'll go to the section where I'm refining it more. Because right now I'm just more or less tracing what I did, and I can already talk through that. Sorry, I forgot to zoom that out. So what I'm going to do here, I wanted to really talk about this really quick. I'm going to switch to a Pigma brush. These guys also make the Micron brand, and the reason I'm doing that is because I need to fill in large areas very quickly. Okay, so I think most of it's dry. I'm going to go in here with my eraser and erase most of pretty much every pencil line I can possibly get. I'm going to erase so that I can kind of see what I'm working with. You know what I mean? Because the pencil lines just kind of obscure what you've already done at this point. And once those pencil lines are gone, like I said, you can really kind of try to refine it a little, refine what you have. Like I said, I recommend a kneaded eraser. I don't have this because I just don't. I don't have one on me right now. Can't afford one. I mean, they're cheap, but I just, you know, money-wise is not great right now, so. So, I'm going to see what we have to work with. I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to try to show you the more kind of refinerly way of stuff. So line weight's the name of the game. I'm going to use the other Pigma. I'm going to use actually the Micron. So for the Micron, I'm going to actually try to think of the... I'm going to vary the line weight a little bit from thick to thin. Not a lot, but I would say in larger muscular areas. I'm going to be using that and, again, the Artisan. Pull that down. The thick to thinness gives it a kind of a dynamic that makes it a little less stiff than it would be. I try to pull those lines toward the bottom, but you can do it any way you want. Again, trying to put a little bit of variety in the lines that I use. I'm going to go in with this smaller one here. Oops. Try to pick out places in the face that just don't look refined. I think it needs a little bit more erasing, to be honest. Let's do this. I'm trying to pull out smaller nicks in the line here. Trying to make them a little bit more directional. Like putting out some of the ridge of the nose, straightening this line out a little bit. Curling around the wing of the nostrils. Pulling a little more information in the mouth there. Again, trying to make him not look too cross-eyed. I mean, he's inherently going to because of the kind of the way the light is. But trying to even that out. Larger liner on the head here. I should have let kind of an opening there, but I didn't. Pulling down here, kind of around the clavicle. For example, this line right here is just too stiff. See how it's just a single line? There's got to be some variety in that line. Some thick to thin. I see the same thing here. It's just a little too stiff. So I'm gonna have to see this. It looks like a V. I'm gonna have to change the shape of one of those to make them a little less even. A little too spidery. I'm going to see if I can move a couple of things around to see. Gonna make that connect a little bit. I think this looks a little too much like a plant. I'm gonna carry it up more. muscle here is looking a little stringy, so I'm gonna try to make that, pull it back a little bit. Maybe it'll look a little bit more round. To his bicep area. And let's keep moving. I'm going to go into the side of the chest here and vary that line as well, otherwise it's going to look kind of weird. That's more in shadow. This line also. This line as well. I'm going to pull some lines in the knuckle. Trying to make sure that I'm not putting too many knuckles on here, because when you're analyzing shapes like that, you forget. You know what I mean? You actually forget. And then you can pull quick wispy shapes to kind of connect it as well. And that's a very stylistic thing. And pull them quick and directional. Kind of all over the place. And like I said on the other one, these are small things. These are attention to detail things. But they do add up. You know, it may seem like nothing. You may just go, ah, whatever. But in the long run, they'll look cooler. And, you know, it really separates a lot of the beginners from the pros. I'm okay at it, I think. You know what I mean? You can kind of start coming up with your own form language, which can be really cool. And like I said, amazingly rewarding. I'm not going to put a ton of detail in this hand in the back because I kind of want it to not be a focus. For it to be a focus, it would not be a good idea. Because it's a hand in the back, you know what I mean? It really shouldn't be a focus. Going around the outside of his shoe here, like, forgot I erased that part. I kind of want to throw it back in. I still think that this one, what's bugging me is this shadow pattern over here. Just kind of repairing this line as well. Essentially what I mean by repairing is that I'm trying to make it do what I want it to do. If you have any questions, by the way, I'm sure there's a bunch because I'm doing a lot. And the format's a little different. Please let me know in the comments, and I'll try to make a video about it. Just let me know. Anyways, that's pretty much it, guys. We're gonna call this finished, and I really appreciate. If you want, you can throw some dust here. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Yeah, it's really up to you. Some blur lines or something. It doesn't really work. I'd have to throw them with bigger ones, really. Yeah. Make it look like motion. So anyways, I was going to say, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and I will try to do my best to make a video about it or talk about it in the next video or recap on it. This is a new format. Please let me know if you like this format. You know, I am kind of changing things up on the channel. So thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Please check out my Patreon. I have a Patreon going. I don't have anybody yet, but it'll be, soon I'll have somebody, I'm sure. And what else is going on? Check out my other channel, and I'll see you soon.